Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Trade Talk, powered, of course, by Novex Finance. I'm a little winded today, a little beat. That's in case you haven't noticed. Yesterday, I ran a 10-11 hour stream, played in the ACR Venom Series Mystery Bounty $8 million guarantee tournament. What an amazing experience it was. Super sweaty experiences. I was just full of adrenaline and we made it. But today, the charts are calling our names. What is about to happen in the market? You guys see a little green. Maybe we fire off these trade talk shorts. As always, it seems to not miss. But we're going to get to it, do a little TA, ask some questions, get a topic. We got a few people up here. But what a great day the next day after making such a big day two in the poker tournament. I feel good, just extremely tired. So you might catch my vibe a little even keeled today, but it does not mean that I am not hyped and just super thankful for Novex Finance and everything we got going on here, baby. Let's like it's like and repost the room. I'm gonna play a couple songs, and as always, good seeing y'all. Thank you for being here.
Yeah. Top down, sun glowing on the chrome, I'm locked in. Whole squad talking about the charts we tapped in. No vex in my pocket, that's the hotline. Turn a long week into a good sign. Used to clock in, clock out, same story. Scrolling on my phone, dreaming about a lane for me. Then I seen the candles, colors on the same screen. Game plan clean, feeling like a daydream. One tap, now I'm reading all the facts, that's grown talk. Money on a mission now, chase, I let it walk. Learn the levels, learn the risk, never rushing. Patience in the stash, now my future stay flushing. From the couch to the cloud, I was second guessing. Now I'm chart checking, every session is a lesson. Little win stack, that's compounding grace. Now I bring calm to a fast marketplace. No vex in my pocket, yeah, I move with ease. Smooth with the numbers like a west coast breeze. From the lows to the highs, I just ride that way. Turn a plan to a profit, watch the mindset raise. No vex in my pocket, put the fear on mute. Lay back, hustle with a long view route. If you feel that shift when the doubt gets loud, let the screen light up, we gon' break that cloud. Sunrise check, I ain't stressing at the open. Got a watch list built, every symbol got a motive. Wrist set tight, I ain't trying to chase hype. This a planned drip, that's a different type of life. I remember over trading, hands sweating on the back. Now I breathe, just let the noise run past. Journal on the desk, every move, every reason. Turn loss into wisdom, that's the champion season. Group chat buzzing, everybody on the same road. Share a little game, pay it forward as it grows. See my cousin just start, eyes wide, heart heavy. Told him small size, big plan, keep steady. We don't gamble, we don't prey on a spike. We just study, set a limit, live life we like. Still barbecue, still laugh, still chill. But the future in the background, slowly getting filled out. No vex in my pocket, yeah, I move with ease. Smooth with the numbers like a west coast breeze. From the lows to the highs, I just ride that wave. Turn a plan to a profit, watch the mindset raise. No vex in my pocket, put the fear on mute. Lay back, hustle with a long view route. If you feel that shift when the doubt gets loud, let the screen light up, we gon' break that cloud. More than green on the screen, it's a mind state. Mind state, mind state. We don't fall when the line shake. We just zoom out, see the whole play. From the first small buy to the first withdrawal, that's proof you can build from a little bit of all. Yeah, it's yours now. On your lane, on your route, stand tall. OG turf, where they told us take what you can. I was playing what you keep, let it work in your hand. Neighborhood kids see me scroll, asking what I'm watching. Just some candles and some patience, little bro, that's options. I ain't selling dreams, I'm just showing them the process. Tiny daily steps, same time, that's progress. It ain't overnight, but it's over time. And over doubt, over fear, over every old line. Now my mom more calm, bills paid on the first. I'm a toast to the charts that reverse that curse. Still the same me, white tee, same sneakers. The balance say I leveled up the speaker. Look, if you lost, turn it together. Check the trend, check the news, check the plugged into the same bright beam. Orders in the air, I can feel the ledger swear. Every number, every share stays exactly how you care. From the cold night staring at a chart alone, to 1,000 voices on a single note. I was chasing signals on a borrowed road. Now the keys sit heavy in my private code. This is Novex, I own my move. On-chain heart with something to prove. Cross-chain doors, I'm breaking through. I choose my risk, I write my truth. This is Novex, I hold my faith. Set my price, I calibrate. Future in my hands, I won't hesitate. Novex, I elevate. Every fill is clear, every spread laid crystal here. No more shadows, no more fear. Just the math and people near. Swapping worlds in one bridge, a market tap and done. Every cycle, every run feels like standing in the sun. Used to chase a rumor and a flashing light. Now I read the pattern in the chain by night. If the rules bend, we can make them right. Every wallet is a signal in a shared new ride. This is Novex, I own my move. On-chain heart with something to prove. Cross-chain doors, I'm breaking through. I choose my risk, I write my truth. This is Novex, I hold my faith. Set my price, I calibrate. The future in my hands, I won't hesitate. Novex, I elevate. Raise your hands if you feel that same. One by one as the ledgers link. We don't wait, we don't ask, we build. Every block laid down by will. Take control, take control, take control. Watch it all unfold from the first small trade to the tidal wave. Every tiny gain, every loss we braved. We are writing rules that we never had. Turn the fear to fuel, turn the risk to bright. This is Novex. This is
Welcome to the show, everybody. You could be anywhere else, but being here with us shows that you want to learn the charts better than what we can even show you here It's a lifelong mission that you may never achieve perfection, but when you're dialed in, it almost feels that way because you can recognize those spots. The easiest mistakes traders make is when they don't recognize, certain time frames or certain positions in the charts and in the move. A lot of false breakouts, a lot of false dumps, a lot of just manipulation in this world when it comes to trading, and we're here to make it better for each and every one of y'all. We don't just sit here for our fun, just sit here just to say hi to each other and pass the time. I'll rather sit at and stare at a wall in my house. We show up here to actually learn and to see how we can spend a little time together discussing the market, looking at charts, so then we can make some money. It has been a great life being able to click some buttons. So check out novex.finance. We do have the QR code here on the top right that you can scan. No ref code necessary. You can use Hermit's ref code, Kuya's ref code, Andrew's, anybody else's. It doesn't matter. We just want you trading on the exchange and showing up to our shows so you can be the best trader you can be. But let's tap in with everybody real quick. I see a few of us have fallen off. Let's tap in with our co-host first. Andrew, you around? Is your mic working? Mic check 1 2.
What's good? What the business is?
El Negro was good.
Man, I'm tired today too, Clutch. I know anybody that followed along in the stream yesterday knows yesterday was it's always been nonstop for us on the timeline, but we did an AMA about Novex yesterday morning, and then we jumped straight into some poker tournaments. I wasn't sharing my screen, but I was four tabling for 4 different tournaments at the same time. So I cashed 2 of them, but the homie Clutch had the big time cash of the day. He was playing the Venom on ACR, a $2,700 buy-in. He made day 2, which automatically puts him in the money, and he's got a shot at $1 million now. So, man, it's not every day that you or the homie gets a shot at a true shot at $1 million in a poker tournament, right? So it's truly something special to be a part of. So that props to Clutch. I know we're all a little drained from that marathon yesterday. So I slept in, but I'm ready to go. I haven't even looked at the charts yet, to be honest.
Andrew, let me cut you off a little rudely here. None of that would have been possible without your hard work and dedication that you've put into playing poker in the last 2 years. And when I met the lotto community, it was easy to start playing poker with them because you had already gotten me back into it. Heading to Vegas, I cashed in one of the WSOP dailies. I made some deep runs in some of the tourneys. And bro, none of that would have been possible without you. You introduced me to ACR as well, and you vouched for me as a good player. And they said, "Oh, you're a good player. Okay, let's see." First freaking official ACR tournament, and I freaking day 2 it, bro, on a big deal. And again, yeah, I put in work and I grinded, but man, thank you for the opportunity, dude. It wouldn't have happened without you.
All good, homie. All good. It's fun to be grinding a poker journey now, and now you're contractually obligated to play a bit. So both, and I think that's a good thing when we're contractually obligated to show up and grind hard. I know we always get better. But yeah, guys, stay tuned. We're not just crypto traders here on Novex. Wherever you guys listen from. But yeah, let's get into the show, man. I slept in. I haven't looked at the charts yet myself personally, so I'll be getting some of this in real time with you guys. But I have looked at gold a bit this morning. I know gold's pumping, but guys, this is Trade Talk powered by Novex Finance. If this is your first time here, welcome. We do this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern. So everywhere it goes out to X, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Rumble, TikTok, Twitch, not TikTok, but on Twitch. We're everywhere, baby. So make sure you like, sub, all that good stuff so you don't miss it, because on this show, we really look at charts, we dial into the market and all that good stuff. Now, you're also going to want to follow because we stream other fun stuff that we do in our downtime, since watching charts all day gives us a lot of downtime. But we stream some video games, we stream some chess, and we stream quite a bit of poker these days too. So make sure you guys are following along for all that, guys. But Trade Talk is all about getting to the money. So here's how this episode goes down, just so anybody new knows what we do here. I do a little intro topic for us, something just to kick around, maybe for us to stay ahead of the curve for the market, all that good stuff, get everybody's eyes. After we check in with everybody on the check-in topic, I throw it over to Clutch. Clutch is going to look at the charts. He's going to let us know what he's seeing. He's gonna call a trade, or I'm sorry, direction for the weekend. He's going to call a range for the weekend, and then we'll try to call a trade for the episode. We don't force anything, right? But if we can get a trade out for the episode, we will. But that's the way it goes down, guys. But I'm going to throw out my check question for everybody, and then I'm going to tell you guys a little bit more about Novex Finance. So here's a check-in question for the day. Gold. You know, I mentioned it's pumping, it's melting faces. And we've been told, I feel like for months now, like gold moves and then Bitcoin traditionally follows. And I think there's a lot not traditional about this bear market, but that's probably a topic in itself, if we're honest. But why is gold pumping, in you guys' opinion, but Bitcoin is just struggling to hang on? You know, watching the truck come up, as I'm saying, struggling to hang on. You can see the struggle in real time. But why do you guys think gold is pumping, but we still got Bitcoin just struggling to hang on? But while I let the panelists marinate on that for a second, I wanna tell you guys about Novex Finance real quick. So Novex Finance is the people's exchange. It was built by traders for traders. You know, me, Clutch, the homie Ghost. We've been trading for a while. You know, been in the game for a minute, and we've had deals with all the major exchanges for the most part. And there was a lot of stuff that we liked about those exchanges, and there was stuff we didn't like about those exchanges. But at the end of the day, we've always known that DEXs, you know, decentralized exchanges, were the place that we wanted to be, because if it's not your key, it's not your cheese. But we took everything that we liked about those exchanges that we worked with in the past and put it all into one on Novex Finance. So when we say it's by traders for traders, truly is. We make sure you got all the bells and whistles that you're going to like on there as a trader. But the other thing that I think is the most important thing about Novex Finance is, as a whole, the traders on our platform are profitable. And I'll say that again, as a whole, the traders on Novex are profitable, and that's unheard of in any exchange. If you guys know any other exchange where the traders are profitable, let us know. We don't know any. We work with a bunch, but there's a reason we keep our traders profitable, right? And, you know, other exchanges, they don't necessarily care if you're profitable or not, right? They just want new traders. Well, we want traders to come and keep trading with us. So that's why we do these trade talks every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern, right? You know, you come here, you get direction and range for 2 days. All you got to do is click the button. But we go a step deeper with it. And here's the real alpha, guys. Get in the Novex Telegram.
Deeper and deeper.
Deeper. When you get in the Novex Telegram, you're going to see you got me in there dropping some alpha. You got Clutch in there dropping some trades. And then you got Ghost, who's still sleeping. But Ghost is he's in there and he drops every single trade he makes. Every time he enters, he lets you know. Every time he trims some profit, he lets you know. Every time he hits a little stop loss, he lets you know. And it's commendable somebody trades that transparently. But that's why our traders are successful. We give you the hand holding you need to be profitable. You just got to click the button, right? So get in the Telegram. Say what's up, you know, make sure you create a Novex account. It doesn't cost anything. You just get in there and, you know, you deposit your money, trade with, but we'll make sure that you're profitable. You know, all you got to do is click the button and put the work in, you know, and we'll teach you how to go fish for yourself along the way. But guys, enough about Novex. Get in the TG though. Let's get around and check in with everybody this morning, man. Who we got here this morning? Let's throw it over to Alex first. He's in the casino. It's probably still loud, but I have more confidence in his reception right now than Hermit's. But Alex, how you doing, bro? How's the casino? Are you winning? And why is gold just melting faces while Bitcoin's struggling to hang on?
Yeah, it's good. It's loud. I'm just sitting in the penny bar. You know, it's nice and cheap as chips here. I just popped into the office and stuff just to check on the guys and get everything ready for the event next week. because we're holding it here at the casino. But yeah, gold is melting faces. I'm sure Peter Schiff is sleeping well at night. I did try to get him into the space this morning at 4 a.m. but for his time, but I think he was asleep, happy with his bags of gold. But I'm thinking this somewhere it must like 5K for me is shorting season. I kind of feel for gold there must be some sort of pullback soon. Yeah, if it rotates into Bitcoin is another question. Like as we talked about the other week about this AI bull run. I know Buddy. I was speaking with Buddy the other day about buy copper, buy silver, buy gold, man. Yeah, copper seems could see it probably rotate into silver and copper, man, and that will have a pump, and then eventually it must rotate into Bitcoin as it's all getting a bit scary out there with. Trump waving his stick around, taking over Greenland, probably into Denmark soon as well. And, he wants Iran and pretty much everywhere that's got oil or anything, Trump wants it and he's going to have it.
We got a few more barrels of Venezuelan oil. Actually, I should say United States oil rolling in now. So I got to get Trump his props for going out and being like Rome. That's what I like to see. That's what I voted for. But yeah, it's interesting. I think that dynamic does play into the value of gold because I think at a globalist macro level, if you're looking at what Trump's doing, he's really speed running the US dollar to zero. And like it was coming regardless. And like Trump knows it was coming. So like I think Trump is just speed running it, whether it was his plan, somebody else's, something like that. But I think that global instability, man, we've got millennia now that when civilizations crash, your gold's still worth something, so I think that's kind of why it's seeing such a safe harbor now. But it's like, man, that chart is just it's so bullish. Like I don't want to long it, I don't want to short it for real because I just don't know. But yeah, man, I wish I had a bunch of gold back when I remember back in the day when I was, really first started buying good weed. An ounce of weed was the same price of an ounce of gold. And, all that weed I smoked, man, I could have just put in gold.
Yeah, you've really got to go back in time to I don't know, like early 18th century and stuff, man. I don't think they have that on. Can you do the super long? Yeah, you got to go back in time to look at the all-time highs of back in like the 1800s and stuff like this, man. It's crazy. Oh yeah, Peter Schiff turned up to a space of Johnny Bitcoin space, man, and like he was doing the technical, and I didn't join in because I can't stand the guy, man. I mean, there is some knowledge to go back in ancient back into like all-time highs of gold back in like 1800 and 1500 and stuff like this, man. It's an interesting chart.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back further, and I'm pretty sure they've been trading like gold with leverage since like the 1800s for real. I could be wrong about that one. Somebody fact check me. But good to hear from you, Alex. Let's check in with the homie Hermit. Hermit, how you doing? You got reception. It's been a few days, bro. Hope you're doing well. And man, what do you think about gold? Why is gold struggling to maintain?
Good morning, everybody. Hopefully my cave Wi-Fi.
Hey, do you guys hear Hermit?
Don't you do me like this, Clutch? I know you're joking this time.
This is the clearest Hermit's ever been, for real.
All right, Hermit. All right.
Deeper and deeper. Exactly.
Deeper.
The first time. Deeper. Dude, when it comes to gold, I think it's just more of there's just still a lot of people who trust gold more than they trust crypto. Whereas we trust crypto more than we trust gold. I think it's just easier for people to get into gold than it is to get into crypto. So that would, to me, would be the biggest reason as to why gold and silver are pumping the way they're pumping. I mean, you guys are talking about silver and copper as well. At this point, I would honestly just start looking at what data center AI infrastructure is going to need, and then just start investing in that. If you're in TradFi, crypto obviously is a whole different ball game, but being profit maxis that we are, you can start looking at stuff like that. Now, if you're on Novex, you can trade gold and silver on Novex as well. So you can look at it from that perspective. But that's honestly, that's why I think it is the way it is. It's just because people still don't, there's still not enough trust in crypto in general. And especially with as volatile as crypto can be, sure, we can get these massive 20-30% pumps in a day, depending on the token, but we can also get those dumps at the same time. So obviously, can the same thing happen with gold? Sure, but I don't think it's going to happen as crazily as it would with crypto. So I think that's the biggest reason as to why gold and silver are pumping the way they're pumping. And honestly, I think it was just a matter of time before silver actually did it, just because, you know, people still want to get that their crazy gains. You know, it's going to be a lot harder for gold to get a 2x now, just because it is $5,000 an ounce or close to it. Silver, you know, wasn't too long ago, it was $30 an ounce. So whoever started getting in at $30 an ounce, well, now they're up 300%. So that's just how I look at it. There's just too many people that have money are still going into gold. And yeah, that's why they're not getting into crypto.
You made a great point there, actually, about the barrier to entry with gold. It's way lower than crypto, to where like literally your grandma can easily knows how to go buy gold. So there's nothing new you have to teach the masses. And I think even people with a little bit of money, like you don't gotta be wealthy, but like let's say you're somebody that like doesn't know really anything about markets, but you've worked for a long time and you saved up 100 grand, even 200 grand. You know, that's a lot of chunk in savings. And you know, you're like, man, I know the US dollar is going to zero. I don't know what's going on with Trump. Anything could happen. I see precious metals are pumping. You know, gold's held value for 2,000 years. Now, I'm of the belief personally that the 2,000-year timeline for gold isn't really that strong of an argument, because like, yeah, you got to think about the average human lifespan and what's going to happen over your lifespan. You know, is it going to be the same? I don't know, right? I think Bitcoin has more upside still, regardless. But I think your average person is going to fall back on that. Well, for 2,000 years, gold has held its value. So if civilization collapses, at least I'm going to have some gold. Where the flaw in that thinking is, in my opinion, too, a lot of these people aren't holding physical gold; they're holding gold on paper. So that could be the gold black swan that we see finally come to heed, to when we finally just come to reckoning with how much more gold is held on paper as opposed to how much physical gold is in existence.
Well, and I mean, honestly, I would say that that's kind of the case with any, like, well, not any asset, but there's a lot of assets out there, you know, like we talk about crypto and holding it on an exchange. Like, you know, it's not smart, because at any point you could quote unquote have that crypto on the exchange, and then all of a sudden now you don't. So it's one of those deals. Like if you're trading gold, you're not, you know, it's not like, oh, well, I own this much gold. Well, is it in your hand? if it's not in your hand or you can't like physically touch it, then you don't necessarily own it. So, if you're gonna, I'm not saying don't ever buy gold, don't ever buy silver. Just make sure that when you do get it, that you are able to actually get it. So, and the same thing goes with crypto. You can sit there and say, yeah, I put 100 Bitcoin on Binance or Coinbase, and at any moment in time that could be gone. It could technically be yours, but it could be gone at any moment in time. So that's why we preach self-custody and all that other stuff. So make sure you're holding crypto on your own self-custody wallets.
It is kind of funny that you mentioned that. Like, dude, we weren't the originators of self-custody, right? Like, the true OG hustlers are the ones that convinced everybody that you don't need self-custody of gold. Like, is that not the greatest scam in history? Probably.
I mean, honestly, there was a time when they basically said it was illegal to own any gold. So, and again, like I have it held in a vault or something like that. And it's like, okay, well, where is this vault? Can it be touched? Can it be nabbed by some rogue government who just decides, you know what, we need all this gold, so we're going to take it. I think that's kind of what it comes down to is, do you actually own it? And even if you're, it's housed in a quote unquote secure vault, it still can be taken away. Again, people, it just has that air of like, okay, it's a little, not necessarily dangerous, but you're taking the risk on, but you're taking it on yourself to hold to you. I think that scares people for some reason, to just be like, okay, I have, it's like for me in crypto, it's like, okay, I have these wallets, let me make sure I have my seed phrases written down. I don't want to just write them down on one spot. I need to keep them in several spots. What if something else happens? Like, it's just, I forget. Here it is.
Oh, I think we lost you there a bit, Hermit. Oh man, Hermit was having some run good today. He was running good, but no, he made a lot of great points about gold there. So I think there's so many similarities between like crypto and traditional markets. Nobody really reinvented the wheel here, as far as like eventually getting people to give up self-custody. And you see the same thing where Hermit made the point where at a certain point in time, the U.S. government made it illegal to hold Bitcoin, or I'm sorry, hold gold, and they'll probably do the same for Bitcoin. But that's really how I think they got people away from self-custody of gold. And then the other point which you made, Hermit, with gold is the other similarity that I see with crypto is like people they eagerly still put their money in staking after we've seen so many exchanges just be like, oh yeah, actually it's not there. So dude, not your keys, not your cheese might go all the way back to the 1800s. Who knows? I think oh yeah, Hermit's getting chopped up by some wind over there or something.
Bro, he had a good run though.
Did he just fucking take off or something? Is he in the plane? What the fuck?
Well, when you're a giant, it's really windy up there.
Oh, I see.
I did have a good one now. I think overheating, it's just so much.
Yeah, all these streaming services, Restream, StreamYard, they're all the same. They do a lot of nastiness. What I might start doing, guys, that's going to be actually pretty dope. I might just start hosting like a Google Meet, since we can do an app, and then I can just stream my OBS studio and people, so we can still have the stage between us.
That's actually a much better
Um,
idea.
yeah, so like that, everyone, the struggle here is the server, right? You can't access
Yeah.
this on a mobile app. So like, yeah, dude, that's really where the issues are coming from. So I'm already thinking about a way to fix it. Plus, it'll save us money because I mean, realistically, right? Like, why pay if we don't have to?
I mean, it seems to work fine on the tablet or an iPad.
It works great on PC or tablets, but most people are on the fly, on the go, on the phone. It's terrible. If you multitask, you done lost your groove, your good connection. The second you multitask, you're cooked.
But stop trying to click the screen and use your right hand for down the pants. You know.
That's freaking disgusting. Whoever does that, don't do that because you probably freaking take a whiff after it, you disgusting cochinos. Look, here's the thing for you. Maybe someone should ship us the Restream app, so then there could be an app and you don't struggle. I think that would be stellar, like the token. Big promises, no deliverables.
Hey, well, we gotta at least give Stellar their credit for being the biggest cryptocurrency in Ukraine. You know, they've done their fair share of money laundering.
I wasn't going to mention Ukraine, but since you're on the topic, Putin deserves a 10% airdrop from all the profits.
Oh man, let's check in with Massimo real quick and then hit some charts. Massimo, how you doing, bro? You might have missed the check-in topic question, but I just pointed out that the Bitcoin is melting faces right now, and Bitcoin's struggling to hang on. Why do you think that is?
One word. Manipulation.
Hey,
Hey, a bit of a boppy. It's a manipulation, fam. It's manipulation. It is pure manipulation. Um, and you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and throw a little bit of fear in there as well. But manipulation, I don't necessarily mean as in deliberately manipulating as much as it is just everyone's. I think there's so many we'll just call them groups, right? You got retail investors, little mom and pop investors, institutional funds. They all got their own agendas. They all got their own games, and I think honestly things have just not been aligning, right? Like think about how you finally got some of these universities. We talked about Harvard previously. They got in, and then look what happened. You know what I mean? Like and then it started to dump. I mean, I just feel like there's such a lack of continuity. Not necessarily that there needs to be continuity between all these groups, across multiple multiple levels, but I just think that's also part of what's going on is that some of these bigger I guess organizations, institutions have their own agendas and what they're doing, and shit is just not aligning in any capacity right now, which is just making it difficult to I guess just say really know much more of what we're dealing with over a 2-3 day either direction or location. I mean, you know go back to Trey Talk a few days ago when Clutch, you, Ghost, everyone were talking about, the 12-hour candle on Total MC and how we got 36 hours to break and hold that 3 trillion and where we're at. And tell me, like, it, since that moment or since that conversation, we were talking and looking where it went, it's just been sitting and lingering below that level, showing no strength to bounce above. So my question here is, as the total is finally holding and bouncing, and now we have everything moving a little bit, like, is this just a scam pump to where they're going to drop it back down below the 3 trillion, right? Or, is this the strength that we wanted to see? And is more going to come in and we're going to start to see people, get scared and have FOMO on missing out. But, at the end of the day, what I can tell you is that, it's hard to speak in absolutes, or it's hard to say anything, certain about Bitcoin. And this is just another one of those scenarios to where, at the end of the day, for me, I'm always trying to figure out what games they're playing, like who's playing the games, and what's in it for them, so I can make sure that I'm get to throw up one of those little flags that said I'm marked safe.
No, it's I'm with you on it being manipulation for sure, and I think it's partially coordinated manipulation, but then also, man, you're seeing so many ancient wallets just wake up and move their Bitcoin to Coinbase and sell them, and the rate that's been happening of like, why now that you guys have been lifers, and now you're like, you know what, I'm taking profits, and I believe that these people will probably move back at the bottom from fresh wallets and stuff, but I think it's manipulation. I think this is a scam pump, to be real. I just saw Noti go off that Bitcoin just reclaimed 91K, but just to me, I don't know, dude. I'm just not sold.
I agree. And you know what? Look, if I miss a rip, I miss a rip. To me, it's more important to not get shit on than it is to miss out on it flying, because we can always reestablish, reset, and trade the pockets.
No, I agree 100%. Well, Clutch, how you doing, bro? What do you think about gold pumping? Why you think it's pumping, and Bitcoin's just struggling to hang on? And what are we seeing on the charts, homie?
Dude, I've been thinking about this for a while, and great question, and you're gonna be a little bit mind blown, Andrew, if I'm quite honest with you.
Are you about to be bullish here, bro? I'm not ready for that. Let me take a deep breath.
No, relax. Andrew has heard 98% of all the TA I've ever given out publicly. Would you say that is true, Andrew? Maybe more?
More, to be real.
This MF has heard all of it. Look, guys, because if he wasn't there to hear it, I had already said it at our morning show, right? So walk with me, Andrew. It's 2022. We're starting, we're knee deep into the spaces, right? Because we had already been doing spaces since before that, right? It's like what, 2021 when we started, or was April? Was it 2020? No, 2021
when we started spaces.
2021, right? I mentioned something when I learned about the CME gaps and all that stuff, and I had said, hey, man, that CME gap just might be 40K now. And that's just because of the value of money, right? It dwindled right after COVID. No one kept factoring in their analytics or all the data. No, wait, we say data now, right? Or wait, which one did we no, I think we said data.
It's definitely data.
No, it's data now. Since you said that. Look, the data came out, right? And we all know that $1 buys you 50 cents worth of product across the world now, mostly, especially in America, right? So people are devalued. Everything was devalued. Crypto blew up. Crypto made it now, Bitcoin to 100K, 90K. But if I'm being honest, Andrew, that's like 45K worth of buying power, right? On the other flip of the coin, and here's where it gets here's where it gets interesting. Gold never caught up to that devalued attack. Gold was worth what, $2,000, $2,500, but what could you buy with that? You cash it out for money that's devalued, so the alternative is holding it, right? Which is what everyone did. Then the rotation started happening, right? And I've been on top of this for years now, and I've been tracking it, and it's kind of cool to see it happening, because now even though silver's at $100, it's really 50, right? And even though gold right? Like we're looking at the chart here. I was on silver now. If you're with me on gold, gold's 5,000 damn near, right? But that means what? $2,500 buying power, to the old world. Now in the modern world where we're at now, okay, now we're getting adjusted to what our inflation and printing of money has done to the world's economy. And to me, it pumped now, because wealthy people had rotated into other things to really make their money stick. Then you had people selling the stocks and selling certain things to rotate into gold and silver. So to me, this was a rotation that most people weren't aware of, because everyone just looks with their naked eye, right? What is it? To the naked eye, you can see this. Well, to the naked eye, gold is 5K and silver is at $100 and Bitcoin is at 90K. Healthy market, right? Healthy world. We're doing better. Look at all these things thriving. Tell me your thoughts, though.
No, I'm with you on the point of the true value of the dollar. I guess it kind of being catching up with the true value of the dollar with it declining. So the pump probably isn't quite what it feels like in comparison, and kind of that's why I think it's happening in general, because like I said before, I think Trump is turbo sending us to zero with the US dollar, whether it was coordinated or just his own idea.
Basically depegging from gold, depegging from the dollar, and putting everything on the assets, right? Like back on the charts, things that can be manipulated. So look at it this way. Let me drive home my point so you can see it in this way for the audience and people listening. Let's just say gold's at $2,500, right? And I got enough gold to buy a house. The average price of a home is 250,000. Let's just assume I got 300 grand of gold at $2,500, right? Okay. I don't sell the gold because I don't want to buy that house. Now I sell the gold now. My bag has now doubled. I now have $600,000 of gold because I waited. Well, the real estate market, that average house is no longer 250,000. The the average middle class home, that type of price that I'm referring to, is about a 2,000 square foot house, 4-bedroom, 2-bath on a traditional 6,000 square feet, which is just a lot, which is just a small lot, and a 2-story home because it's cheaper to build, and a cookie cutter on a brand new construction home, right? That home is now worth double. It's 500K. So realistically speaking, the buying power of your gold on this level, which is the world physical level, America, buys you less than what it did. I don't know the specific, like, to the T answer, and I can figure this out if I really cared to know. But I wonder if it was cheaper to have sold the gold, buy the house then, right? Refi the house with the fake money, take out all the equity of all the increased value, and get the heck out. And you'll
That's
probably
always the
have
real.
more. Well, think about it. Let's follow that. 250K purchase. That house is now worth 500 after loan and everything. I cash out $150. I have 150K cash, which still buys me the same America or whatever. And then if I dumped my 600K of gold right now, and bought the house, I'll have 100K left. So you see, buying and holding gold that's just sitting there actually made you less money than if you would have dumped all your freaking gold on that initial pump to 2,500, because they pumped everything else. The price of everything else got more than doubled. Everything else is at a multiple of like close to 1.5. So like, this is why eggs are no longer 99 cents, 129, right? It's like they're 2.99. That's more than a 1x, than a double up. So all I'm trying to have everyone understand is you have to be realistic with what's going on. So for me, it's like this is just a catch up, and this is a like a chart that just doesn't look normal, but it happens a lot on these commodity charts where they just have these big old moves because all they're doing is just catching up to where we really are. Gold and silver should be this expensive, right? Because they just hadn't pumped because they had slowed it down. They were mass accumulating, bro. Pre the billionaires and millionaires coming in next doing this, and then now you have fomitis and the your traditional retail pumping at these next levels, and you're gonna start seeing some vicious pullback. But hey, maybe I'm wrong, and gold's going to 10K like immediately. That's when I'll be sold. Like, dude, you start seeing gold really rip to that 6K level, then it's going to start doing stuff. Because look what it did to a fair value. Nothing to Bitcoin, really, just your standard little. We're banking on speculation right now that Trump's just flexing what he's flexing his ass on his way out of the office because he don't got much time left. So he's gonna go run turbo, and everything that's over frickin' bought is just gonna have to come down. There's no way hundreds of billions of dollars, heck, trillions potentially. We're talking 4 to 6 trillion from all these markets. There's almost no chance that it doesn't just get wiped because it's right there sitting there. And the only people with the supply is you. Like when we're talking big percentages like this, dog, America's been going to war to take everybody's gold.
No, I'm with you, and it's clearly been a conquest of resources for the United States. It's like, we can debate the morality of it, but I think it's what you kind of got to set yourself up for as a superpower. So it's it's a good take.
I'm not here to debate the moral aspect of it because hey, the world made its bed and they're lying in it. And world power has always been the thirst of every nation, dog. Like, so it's not just America that's evil here or anything like that. All I know, America has done crap that at least allows you to be peaceful in your own streets, right? Versus, a lot of places in the world and how it used to be back in the days, dog. You always had to have a watchtower, a freaking archer set up at every corner blind spot of your boundaries. That was a scary world we used to live in. This world is scary in the same ways. Like you still can't let your kids do certain things, right? Like all these things, but it's much safer. I'm okay if you go to the grocery store and back, right? Like you could imagine, dog, before try to say, hey, I'm gonna go to the grocery store, dog. I mean, imagine we had grocery stores in the 1200s. Your wife and kids leave, you just never see them again. Like it's how the freaking world has always operated until America kind of changed that. Instead of just showing up and killing everybody and saying we own you now, we've done it in a different way. Good old capitalism. That's why, like, how can you argue the moral rights when there's some bad moral stuff there, but there's also a lot of good human like value stuff that Western society has actually given to a lot of people. And then as soon as we opened our boundaries and started bringing in the Eastern world to be our leaders and thought leaders and this and that, and what do? More of the frickin' same. All this mental health issues and all this equality is like, bro, what do you mean? Like, this is some crazy stuff. Or you don't even argue equality means you don't even understand the world. We're all equally brittle. We're all equally blind. We're all equally like just in the same way, just in whatever world you're born into. It's just crazy, dog. Like, this is a crazy conversation, but it's been coming full circle. And I've been like, I didn't like now I know for like future markets, right? This is part of me only being a trader for 3 years. But imagine, Andrew, if I had like foreseen perfectly this rotation. I can identify it now what it is, but man, so like this is why we lock in and learn now for 2, 3, 5, 7 years later when inevitably it happens again. And if I'm blessed to be alive, I'm gonna freaking long or short the heck out of these spots. So I'm eagerly watching it. It's on my favorite list, and that's because I'm trying to short it and make some freaking money now. Because clearly I missed the long. Well, there's always going to be the big short after the big long. It's always been the case. Both sides, every commodity, every asset. That's America, baby. They got to be able to take more money when there's no more money to take. And that's usually at the tops or bottoms, right, of the total market. So it's been pretty fun, bro. Just kind of catching this.
Sure, and I'm waiting for the big short too. I haven't looked at gold, but silver's just given the white rabbit and everything. Even though silver, I think, is at a new all-time high today as well. But yeah, these precious metals, man. I think they're squeaking out the last little bit of retail money because I got my normie friends. Some people that barely know me still hit me up, being like, "Hey, what do you think about gold and silver?" And like everybody knows me as a crypto dude, but they're hitting up the crypto dude asking about precious metals. Like that's kind of telling in my opinion.
Right. So let me tell you this. Can you tell me, well, no, before you even tell me the price of it today, I haven't looked at it, but I started getting calls being asked about XRP, even by my ex-pastor. He was like, "Hey, what do you think of XRP?" The price of XRP was plus $3 in the three sums area. I said, dude, don't buy that. It's a scam. What's the price of it today, bro?
Oh, dude, I would guess we're sub $1. Oh,
No, sub $2. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? 40% down from that moment. And that's just because we're on a decent little pump. Over the last, last couple of weeks, we have pumped more than we have dumped. Let's go to the weekly. Yeah, see, like we did have a 2-week period of a pump, and then it's just been eating. Every pump has just been eating. And look, even looking at the
it's
XRP
gonna
chart.
fill that wick to the downside.
Yeah, well, look at it. The weekly 21's about to cross under the 50. Let's go to the 12-hour for XRP. And it's important because it's a top 10 freaking coin, right? So when I'm streaming, my internet is booty sometimes. I'm sorry, guys. Look at it just loading. That is 100% not the site. I promise you guys. It is me. The 4-hour chart, it's claiming the 21. So if it can stay, it might try to get this little reversal. You see, like a lot of these things is kind of what they try doing here.
Go to the 2-hour though. I bet we wicked off the 50 on the 2-hour.
I don't think it shows the 2-hour. You see? Oh, yeah, it does. No, it doesn't. Oh yeah, it does. This is the 2-hour. Okay. The 21 just crossed, the 8 got crossed over the 21, but look at this big old rejection on the 50.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty nasty. On the 1-hour, the 8 just crossed the 21. There's a little bit of bullishness that can take you to the 1-hour 200. Yeah, we're at the 30-minute 200. So like the tell here would be if this little gap starts closing. And that's going to be the crossing on the 15. It's probably starting crossing. Yep, see? The 21. So if it's going to withhold this little gap here, then the 50 is eventually going to cross above the 200, and you got one last leg of this pump. That's how I catch these fools, and I can usually just catch this, the 200, draw my line. Oh, I'm going to catch it right here, and then measure the bars from here to there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? So 8 hours, a pump should come that's going to hit the 1-hour 200 if we hold on to the 15-minute range here and get that 50 to cross. Boom, it'll get that last little pump right up here, But to your point, like what you're saying, dude, these are spots where if it loses the 8 then comes crumbling down. Then you have the 21 go, oh, you're heading that way now? All right, let bet. And then they both cross under the 50 again. And then you're just getting cooked, right? Because like you're just below all these levels. And same thing. In order to keep going down, like look at this. The EMAs cannot keep going down. Like boom, they dragged it all the way down. That's it. they drag it down, but they always let it breathe like a rubber band. You stretch it, then you let it go. It goes the other way real quick. Boom, boom, boom. They open up liquidity and buyers start coming in, and it looks bullish, but it's not. It's just that they're making it easy for these big old pumps to happen. And then look how easy they just boop. Big old candles always. Like you always notice the bleeding is very destructive with trash coins. And like if I just follow the 1 hour on like freaking XRP, look at these nasty 1 hour candles nonstop. Like just these candles that just destroy runs. They give you some green, of course, you know, but you're just always going to see a lot more nastiness, you know, on the shorter time frames. On like, look at these step ladder candles, bro, on the freaking 30-minute. Nasty. But anyways, you know, obviously the one that matters is Bitcoin. And like the 30-minute chart, similar spot. You see XRPs in the same areas. That's because it doesn't front run. It's lagging behind. Notice how the 50 is farther away. Bitcoin is showing that the 15 is coming, right? So we're about to get a little bullish cross. We already got the triple bullish cross on the 5. So if we go to the 30-minute, if we hold on to this little gap here, there's going to be a pump, and that's taking us to this little cross action all right here to the upside. That should take us to the 1 hour 200, you know. And the same thing, like it's a little probably sooner if you just kind of draw, like, let's say like here, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours, you know, not 8 hours, you know, for XRP. And XRP is kind of lagging behind because it's just everything's trying to see what Bitcoin's going to do. So anyhow, on Bitcoin, I had already been doing some TA, and here's the important part, guys, and the scary part. The 50 already crossed the under the 200. Okay, look at that, boom. And it hasn't really given us a pump. Since the cross, we've pumped. We haven't gotten that dump yet. So it comes down to that 12-hour chart, you know, that Massimo started talking about. And it's really just been very important. It's been important for Bitcoin. It's been important for, you know, for USDT dominance. So it's really been all over the place. For whatever reason, guys, the 12-hour chart for me and my internet when I'm streaming does not freaking work. It is brutal. Notice the daily, how fast it pops up. There he goes. Okay. So on the 12-hour, since we got I'm talking about the that cross that we already got, you know, on the 4-hour, the 50 under the 200. Now we're on the 12-hour, and that 21's about to cross under the 50. Look at this. It's right there. It's coming. The perfect short would have been that wick on that perfect top here, but you're probably going to get that extra bounce again, take you right to that 1 hour 200. So that's like right here. 91.4. Yeah, dude, I'm looking at 91.3 to 91.5 area. Anywhere in that area, a very good short, because after all that bullishness happens, it's going to then send you right back down. Rejections here, rejection on the 12 hours, freaking nasty. Something's coming there. They're going to grab liquidity. This is them letting it. All right, go ahead, buy the bottom. Low, lower. Now we're higher low, higher low. Oh, yeah, people are getting freaking bullish. They bought that. People that only do TA to this, and they trade, right? So anyways, I look at everything, but this cross can be bad on the daily. You know, we are below everything, so there's really nothing deadly there, but it's the weekly, guys, that I'm scared of. Look at this. That weekly candle's ending this weekend. This is a nice reversal hammer candle. This could be a very good candle for us, but my goodness, guys, we need to finish so strong. And it's the 12-hour chart that I keep saying, you know. Again, it's going to load again. I shouldn't have done that. I did it to myself. I should have known better. Dude. But anyways, but you guys get the idea. Any questions so far on that? No? All right, good. So if this 12-hour chart holds, and can give us that higher low. It's showing massive support. It's higher low from these areas. You know, this is the swing high. This could be the swing low. So now what you're looking for is not a head and shoulders right here somewhere. You want to see this chart with conviction, rip past the 200 and at least break the structure. You want to see it come in on this trajectory up that way. And just follow the 12-hour candles. But we're right in that range. If that weekly candle ends, we're freaking cooked. Let me show you guys something else. Let me open up my pumpy dumpy chart. All right, we are live on the pumpy dumpy chart. Let's go. So what's cool here, touch screen. All right, what's cool here, right? So obviously bearish momentum, which is good for longs, right? So if that cross happens, we're doing, you know, it's all going to be if it breaks these lows here on the inverse, right? Because we've been looking at everything else that way. But look, we're below the 200 on the 30-minute. And if we hold on to that area, the 1 hour bearishness that's incoming, that's good, right? That's why you see the bullishness on the market. It's going to push us to the 200. So if I'm looking a short, that perfect short is once you see the 1 hour 200, it looks really good, you know, for pumpy dumpy. On the bullish side of things, right? Yeah, it might seem like, oh, big long, it's the bottom. 50 crossed, and look, we didn't get the pump. It's just been trading sideways. It's accumulating, and the dangerous part, it's accumulating in my Toyota and Ramen territory, just as predicted. Like, it's just not going to just blow through it. It's just going to keep staggering here, and it's waiting for the 12-hour chart. You know, but it's on the daily here that you really start seeing it. Check this out. This is either going to be the nastiest top that we're looking for us to do a mega long, but we need the weekly candle. Sorry, that's what I meant. The weekly candle to end. So on this candle here, it's starting to really show out. It gave us this perfect structure. You know, it's still not a technical trend on the weekly, but it's a really insane trend on the daily. Perfect trend. So on the weekly ending here is about to really confirm with this candle if it's going to be a rejection or a continuation. So typically on these, we got the, you know, the indecisive candle followed by the inverse hammer, and then we just freaking took off. But now you're seeing this potentially turn into that hammer candle as well, right? And that's good for long. So I will be watching this weekend, depending on these weekly charts, how they end is going to tell a lot. Because if Bitcoin heads towards the weekly, it's, look at that cross. It's coming. Weekly 200 in this zone. And that's why I can't just super long here for hopium to here to there. 20-30% here to there, 20-30%. It's almost like the R&R is not even there. Like if I'm buying spot, then I can DCA and get myself out on any bounce. That's okay. But with leverage, it's harder to recover. So constantly adding to a trade is not the greatest of strategies. So the CME on the daily, which is where we're going to go look at. Let's give it a second. Dude, my net's been acting booty. Need to put this PC on direct connect too. Can y'all hear me? Mic check. Hello. I stopped screening to reset it. All right. No, it's not coming back online. That's whack. Dude, my trading view just crashed.
What's that?
Sorry, guys. Give me a second. For whatever reason, my Bitcoin chart just freaking crashed. Hold on, guys. Who else is here? Andrew, you still around?
Yep.
All right. Can you cover for me real quick? My trading view just crashed. It's not resetting.
Yeah, you want me to
What
try to
be
pull mine up?
well, I mean, it's fine. Just tell me what you think so far. What I'm talking about. What are you seeing? Anything different other than the weekly incoming bearishness on Bitcoin and pump when and Solana? Like all these charts. The weekly is what's scary.
Well, yeah, I think even going back to XRP in the beginning, that it's that weekly that it you can see that wick and across all of them really from October 10th, I think it was, or back in October, and that's where I think we're heading to fill that wick, and I think when we fill that wick to the downside, that's when the leg down from there starts, which is pretty bad because that was like a 70% drop on everything. Cool, we got your screen back now.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. So you just honestly, you just really want to look at the CME and no gaps left. You don't want to see a big old dump or a big old pump. You want to see sideways this weekend. When you see big pumps or big dumps, you leave gaps, and that just kind of tells you what's going to happen. So, like, they're going to close the gap, meaning they're going to stay in whatever area that goes, right? So, if they pump it to the upside, they'll stay there, and that's kind of bad news. You want a sideways chart to where no one knows what's going to happen, and then boom, that gives us a chance. It's just way different than I've tracked the CME, and on gap days, look at this, left the gap right to the upside. I'm sorry, to the downside, and we went to cover it, and like it's hard to break those areas when there's money to the downside. And like there's been few times when there's gaps to our upside, and it's the same, and it's our same thing, because they'll go tap it, but it's just the top. And okay, if your leverage trading is good, but we're speaking here just in terms of if you want the market to keep going up, right? Then obviously you want to see spots like that really just kind of just smash through, right? And the only way to do that is on sideways days where, look, like here, we traded sideways. Gap closed, and then boom. There's always going to be little pops like that. So that's what I'm looking for. That's my weekend. Just kind of, TA, you start looking at Ethereum. Start looking at the weekly. Oh, I had it right there. But the 21 under the 50, right? Solana on the weekly. Dude, my charts are just bugging TradingView. They want me to upgrade. Look at this, dude. Every time. The only website is doing this too. Everything else is working perfect. I even did a speed test on my Wi-Fi, dude. I'm like, dude, my Wi-Fi is perfect, actually. This is booty. Trash. But anyways, I'm really tracking that 4-hour chart's gonna matter. See what happens here. Sorry, and either 4-hour and then obviously the 12-hour charts. Pay attention to those spots. This is still a freaking pretty big run up, and the swing low is finding support at previous resistance. I'm not sold that we're not gonna freaking still go on a big ass dump here. So, but if not, we do want to catch along to this daily trend that it's established, and hopefully it breaks for us. Bam. But hopefully it's not a long consolidation, and then we freaking run up. This scary stuff. I leverage trade, and I just constantly, I just keep looking at the things that matter. And it's not what you're seeing now, but what's coming. And you can really predict that by looking at the volatility, looking at the spikes, right? What's going to happen. You can look at the DMI, the white rabbit. There's just a whole bunch of information that we've shared with y'all, but it really comes down to the forecasting these averages, which is these EMAs, and that's how we cook, baby. But that's what I got for you guys. As far as for the weekend, I'm looking for a sideways range. I suspect they won't leave a gap too much. They'll stay within a pretty close range I'll I won't be surprised with a pump though. I would be surprised with a dump, like a bad, nasty dump. I don't think that's gonna happen this weekend, just because they wouldn't want to leave a gap to the downside. I just don't think that's smart if you're pulling liquidity like these dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like that's you're probably not gonna it's gonna be hard to go out and grab that liquidity there unless you do like some crazy liquidation. So it starts setting the stage, in my opinion, based off of what we see this weekend. And why? Because it's very, very important that weekly resistance that's incoming, bearish momentum that's incoming on weekly charts that we've been tracking for weeks, it's now here. After this candle, a lot of those crosses are happening. If not for sure by next week, but dude, we are there. We are staring that in the face.
I'm with you. I think this weekend will be pretty interesting. You know, if we move sideways or get a pump. So I think I don't know. It's one of those weekends I'm probably going to be sidelined, to be honest, and probably trade the CME open.
Yeah, I remain on the sidelines during the CME closures. From time to time, I've been doing a little bit more trading now in post hours, simply just because I'm putting volume on Novex and all that stuff. But that's not a bad strategy. It's just kind of seeing what happens. If it's choppy and sideways all weekend, it's gonna be quite boring, and you're just watching charts, you're trying to break even, you're trying to get out, or you're like barely up and you're wondering if you should get out. And next thing you know, the CME stuff starts happening, and dude, yeah, you don't want to get caught up in a trade you don't really want to be in to begin with. It's best to go the other way after it dictates what it did. I love shorting after big old longs, and I love freaking doing the longs on big old liquidation days. That's when I start buying. I buy, but then I close, right? Like we cook, we make money, but it happens in a specific way, and that's just by understanding market reversals before they happen. And that's the free money. That's what we're trying to help y'all get to in your own strategy, in your own way, intertwined and mixed with how we, look at charts around here and how we look at it. And it's been working for us. Hasn't put us out of the game. I haven't been liquidating my whole port, such a terrible trader type of deal. No time for LARPing and frickin' being a terrible trader. So if you're really not where you want to be, put in that work, put in that time, and absolutely start kicking some tush on the charts, baby. Check out Novex Finance. You see how smooth it is. It's freaking awesome. It's easy to trade on there. Create an account, sign up, and come show us what you got, baby. Look out for some pretty dope stuff coming up. I'm gonna make an announcement more than likely next week on the marketing plan here moving forward for what we got popping. So, but anyways, I don't got anything else from my side. Andrew, I know you're up here. Hermit, you're up here. Anything you guys got you want to say before we wrap it up?
Yeah, I was just going to add, you said what I was basically going to say in terms of like the weekends are generally slow, and people are just constantly trying to force trades or whatever. Instead of doing that, just work on your actual charting skills and your own TA skills. Because it's like if you're looking at the charts, at least work on the skills that if you're waiting for a trade, don't force anything, but you can at least work on your skills in that regard. So that would be my biggest recommendation. And if you have zero skills, now's the perfect time to start building them.
Such a freaking legend. One thing we didn't cover, and I'll brief through it. We're at 3.03 trillion. It's a big deal. We talked about that also, right? Just didn't show it. Massimo mentioned it, but we're above 3. Hopefully it stays that way. But man, we're not blowing through this area with conviction. We're hanging on. 90K Bitcoin hanging on. That's not what we want. Fear and greed's 34. Keep track of that. See what it ends up being by Monday. But the more greedy we get, the more we start being in some danger. So just kind of track all this stuff. It all helps you really just be put up on game. So we're about to send you off. Thanks for being here, guys. As always, we show up, and you probably should be checking these out more regularly. Why? Because it's going to increase your knowledge of charting. It's going to increase your knowledge of the markets, and it's going to give you an opportunity to be able to take what the market gives you on a daily basis and be able to earn a living that way. It's what I've personally been doing for a while now, and it's very, very rewarding. So being able to be at home and in the comfort of your own home, being able to perform, to just lock in versus having to go to an office or a desk or, yesterday I played poker and I did quite well on a big tournament, May Day 2, which is hard in itself. 324 people that were spending big money to play. And I was one of them that made it. And it's insane that never had that before. But I started realizing that, it's the comfort of your own home where you can really turn it into your oasis of what you're looking for. And like for me, it's locking in when it comes down to making money and needing to make money. So, and I do it with legitimate ways that don't involve cheating all over your friends' faces. So we do it on the market makers. It's all about the order books, right? So I'll see you on the order books, catch you out. We're probably going to do some gaming streams. Promise my kid we'll do another zombie stream. Last time we streamed, we made it to round 45 and then we died. So can we beat level 30? Can we beat round 45 this time? We'll see. But maybe Andrew and his kiddo will play us this weekend. But we'll be doing some streaming. We'll be doing some poker. And as always, I'll definitely catch you on Novex.finance. Check us out. Not your keys, not your cheese is not our problem. As you control the position, you control your wallet, you control the trade, we control the vibes and help you just become a better trader and understand that it's really easy. We don't care if you win or lose. We only care if you keep trading. And simply, that means you have to win to keep trading. But we make money off of your fees, not your wins or your losses. We want to encourage you to never lose and just keep trading with us forever. And then we win that way. But you'll win in the end, ultimately. And that's really what matters. Honestly, it's a life-changing experience to be able to click some buttons regularly and do it with super precision and just be incredibly responsible. And you'll realize that, man, even if you just make $30 a trade 10 times a month, dude, $300 out of nowhere for free. I know that may not be a lot for most people, but it's about the consistency and the compounding that you can start today with $100, make 1% a day on your trade. That means $1 the next day, $1.10 a day after, right? Just a 1% increase day by day. You'll be at a million in 2 years, dude. So don't fricking mess around. Become a good trader, and you'll see yourself winning a lot more often. Don't be chasing vaporware. Knowledge is key. Keep growing. Keep getting better. Then you can have fun in this ecosystem. But until then, protect your portfolio at all costs, baby.
Yeah. Yeah. Late night, glare off the glass on the screen light. Wallet on sync and it feels right. Keys in my palm, I don't need mic, I need math. Feed from the stream like a bloodline. Order books open like a skyline. Every little tick got a story, let the chart shine. Click once, root through a mesh, not a main line. Peer to the pier, cut the waistline. Carved out fees, keep the stake, lead a thin rhyme. We built brick by brick, but it's cold blocks. Nobody knows, see the flow lock. Old doors closed, we just walk through the roadblocks. Novix on my mind when the blocks flip. Whole crowd plugged in when the clocks tick. New world in the cold, let the lock slip. Yeah, we trade that trust for the trustless. Hands up for the ones who were boxed in. Now the gate wide open, we are logged in. No vex in the air when the charts lit. Yeah, we trade that trust for the trustless. Yeah. Fresh start, I don't ask who's behind that. I just see proof where the time at. Stamped on chain, let the facts do the combat. Street smart, numbers in my head like a drum line. Split second fills on the front line. Spread so tight, feel the slip on a flat line. Zoom out, you can see trends, not the scared talk. Every big shift start with small chalk. New rails laid where the slow trains deadlock. I see kids in a room with a screen glow. Running test nets like it's free throw. Lines of code looped up, that's the cheat code. Always on my mind when the blocks flip. Whole crowd plugged in when the clocks tick. New world in the code, let the locks slip. Yeah, we trade that trust for the trustless. Hands up for the ones who were boxed in. Now the gate wide open, we are locked in. No vex in the air when the charts slip. Yeah, we trade that trust for the trustless. From the floor to the chain, we connected. From the dream to the screen, that's progression. Every node, every soul, that's a section of a bigger kind of net. Not a prison, that's a blessing. From the racks in the bag to the phone tap. From the facts, from the lag to the fast track. When the crowd on the rails, you can't hold back. Whole globe in the flow, let it snap back. Yeah. New day, all of these graphs like a mural. Color in the wrist, keep the cure full. Step through the noise, let the clear cut the hollow. We don't wait for a desk or a phone call. One swipe sign and the stones fall. Old tall walls feel small when the code tall. Look close, you can see hearts in the hash rate. Little green dots on the map shape. Everyone posts like a drum in a jazz break. We hear bright eyes, never mind what the fears say. Every rough chart had a clear day. Every drawn line was a guess to the play. No vex on my mind when the blocks slip. Whole crowd plugged in when the clocks tick. New world in the cold, let the locks slip. Yeah, we trade that trust for the trustless. Hands up for the ones who were boxed in. Now the gate wide open, we are logged in. No vex in the air when the charge slip. Yeah, we trade that trust for the trustless.
Yeah.